So there are types of cutting tools. We have two types of cutting tools. One is the single point cutting tool. The other one is the multi-point cutting tool. And here you can see the cutting tools perform the main machining operation. So in multi-point cutting tool, we have number of teeth or cutting edges on it. And cutting edges means even we have in a single point cutting tool the cutting edge, but in multi-point cutting tool we have a number of cutting edges. The difference between single point cutting tool and multi-point cutting tool is that one. So all of you see, yesterday we have also seen the types of metal cutting process, orthogonal cutting, and the other one is the oblique cutting. You can easily see in the diagram how the motion of work job is there, and the tool, how the chip is being cut, and orthogonal already you know it is 90 degrees. But in oblique cutting, you have a particularly knife edge type tool, So in the orthogonal cutting, it is 90 degrees, and in the oblique cutting, it is the knife edge type tool. So the differences you have to just observe between the orthogonal cutting and the oblique cutting. So here the oblique cutting is also known as the three-dimensional cutting. Yesterday we are only discussed about the two-dimensional, but oblique cutting is also known as the three-dimensional cutting. So here the cutting action you can see is inclined to the job by a certain angle. But the angle should not be, the inclination angle should not be equal to 90 degrees. So that is the difference between orthogonal cutting and oblique cutting. So next. So in a single point cutting tool, it has an effective cutting edge, and it removes the excess material from the workpiece along the cutting edge. So we in the tools yesterday, like the threads, screw threads, yesterday I told you about the left hand thread and the right hand thread. So like that we have the tools left handed and right handed, just like the human beings. We have some will write with the left and some with right with right. So, and again, single point cutting tools are classified as solid type, tipped tool, and brazed tools. We use the aspect of brazing. There is a fabrication process we would have studied in production technology, soldering, brazing like that. And the tool bits are generally they try to braze to the tip of the tool holder. So the tip type of tool is made from a good shank steel. So you have to see that the tool material also should play a role as far as the tool rigidity is concerned. So tool rigidity is also important because you have to fix the tool in the tool holder correctly, and it should not be subjected to vibrations. So vibrations of any kind will affect the metal removal process. If the metal removal process is affected, then you will not get a good surface finish on the workpiece. So here in the tip tool, the tip may be made of high speed steel HSS or cemented carbide. Yesterday we have discussed this also. So the different types of carbide tips are generally used on tip tool. Different types of carbide tips we have. So that is the cemented carbide, and other types are also available. So next. So solid type of single point cutting tool, you can see the first diagram, the first type of single point cutting tool. Second one is the tip type single cutting tool. You can see the tip, and here as far as this is concerned, you can see that particular there is a particular attachment where you can screw the particular tip through the particular tool cutting edge by means of a, you can say it is a grub screw. You have to use the Allen key to just fix that particular thing on that. So here in the third type, we have the indexable insert type single point cutting tool. So indexing, you'll learn in gear manufacturing or in the milling machine, you have to index the gear, because without indexing, the machining cannot be done for all the teeth on the periphery of the milling cutter. So that is very important. Indexing, tool indexing is very important in the tool aspects. In the tool aspects, the tool indexing is very important. So here, the geometry, whatever geometry we have, we'll try to come to the geometry also, because single point cutting tool, geometry and the nomenclature are very important. Not only the academics, if you go to the particular industry also, and if you are given the tool room in charge, you have to guide the ITI people how to make a single point cutting tool or a multi-point cutting tool according to the diagram, because you have to have a basic knowledge regarding that. So here the nose is there. As far as the nose is shaped as conical, as far as single point cutting tool, and with different angles we have. Yesterday we have just known the face, what is the face, what is the shank. So again, we'll be just going for the other things also. So you have to see what is the side flank, what is the heel. Heel faces on the top, faces on the top. The heel is like this. This is the side flank. This is also the face of the shank. This is the face of the tool. And this is the end cutting edge. There are two types of edges, already I told you. According to that, we have the end cutting edge angle, and sometimes it's also known as the auxiliary cutting edge angle in some of the textbooks. And we have here the side cutting edge angle, and this is known as the heel. Just like the particular human being, the foot of the human being, we have the toe and heel, as far as the particular screw threads are also concerned. So that is very important, and you have to just see that also. So next slide, I'll just try to go, and you have to practice this particular diagrams. Already I told you in production technology subjects, whether it's 1 or 2 or metal cutting, the diagrams are very important. So we'll just try to see this also. So types of chips. So again, we'll come to that particular plot, because we don't waste time in searching the particular slides. We have kept in an order. So yesterday also I told you we will just try to discuss the types of chips today, and slowly we'll know the angles also. The single point cutting tool angles. Yesterday we have discussed the rake angle. The different types of rake angles are also there. We have discussed that also, back rake, side rake, and zero rake angle. So we have the 4 types of chips actually, but most of the people will be discussing about the 3 types only. So continuous chips, discontinuous chips, and the third one is we'll go in an order, though it is on the slide, it's like that. And the third one is the continuous chip with built-up edge. Yesterday I also told what is the material of the tool where continuous chips are formed. Are you hearing me, CR?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Under internet connection, sometimes it is unstable. So chip is produced. So here continuous chip means chip is produced when there is low friction between the chip and tool face. Low friction. So here we'll just try to discuss the other aspects also, because you might have seen mu is the coefficient of friction in engineering mechanics. Here also we will see that also, the mu and beta, what is that shear angle and everything. So don't try to draw the sketches, because additional support faculty are watching you, because yesterday's problem we have discussed with the HOD. So you'll be taking care of those who are writing on the sketch. So on the screen. So this chip has the shape of a long string, just like a spiral. It will be smoothly flowing from the tool, and it will fall down like a tight roll. It curls. So chip is produced in the continuous chip, just as ductile materials, aluminum, copper, mild steel, and wrought iron. You might have studied the wrought iron, cast iron. Different amounts of carbon percentage are there in those malleable iron, cast iron, wrought iron in metallurgy and material science. So formation of a really very lengthy chip is also hazardous, or it's very not safe for the machine operator, that you can see practically. So next. So why is it hazardous? Because it will wrap on the cutting tool on the workpiece and interrupt the cutting operation. So the chip should break. So for that, we'll just try to discuss later. We have to have a chip breaker also. We have to design a chip breaker, and the different types are there. We'll just try to see in one of the slides. And it becomes necessary to deform or break the long continuous chip into small pieces. So here also we just use the word chip breaker also. So by using the chip breaker, you have to make it as a part of the tool design, not a separate device. So many people may think that chip breaker is not a part of the tool design or a separate device, but it is a part of the tool design. So tool design is a very important concept, and we have one particular course in CITT, Balanagar, Central Institute of Tool Design. So the second one, we'll go in an order about that one. Continuous chip with built-up edge. Already we have discussed why when the built-up edge is formed, unlike the continuous chip, we have the high friction between the chip and tool, and the chip material it will weld itself to the tool face. So whenever the chip material weld itself to the tool face, the friction increases further. So layer by layer, it will be adding upon the chip material, and the built-up edge grows. So and it breaks down only when it becomes unstable. But it will give the efficiency of the tool will decrease, and the machining operation, the particular surface finish, you won't get a good surface finish, because and you'll get a poor surface finish. And naturally, whenever any particular why the efficiency of the tool is decreased, because there's high power consumption. Because why? Because P is equal to 2 pi N T by 60, already told you, and torque will be increasing. You have to exert maximum torque with this continuous chip with built-up edge. So that's why the power consumption will increase, and naturally the tool wear also will be increasing, and you have to replace the tool in a shorter period of time. So that is the particular aspect regarding the continuous chip with built-up edge. And the third chip is the discontinuous chip. So already I told you these types of chips are obtained whenever we are machining the brittle material like cast iron, brass, and bronze at very low speeds, and high feeds. So that particular parameters you have to say. So the machining parameters are concerned, and chips are produced in the form of small pieces. So for brittle materials, it is associated with fair surface finish. Fair means it is only medium, not poor or not a good surface finish. And naturally, unlike the built-up edge, it has a lower power consumption, and they have a reasonable tool life. We have more when compared to the built-up edge. So when for the ductile materials, here we have the poor surface finish, already we have seen, and we have the particular excessive tool wear also. So that is the particular thing. And non-homogeneous chips, it will be in the form of notches, and due to non-uniform strain in the material, the non-homogeneous chips are formed. Actually, you should have a uniform strain in the material, because strain is a very important aspect. It is given by, you just try to see the notations also. We'll discuss the notations, important notations in metal cutting also. So how the homogeneous chips are formed? They are developed during machining. When you are machining hard alloys. What are the hard alloys? Titanium. You can give an example of titanium also. So that is the thing regarding the. So here we'll come to that particular single point cutting tool. Okay, I think it is in 18. So nomenclature of a single point cutting tool. So it is a very important topic. Already I told you, you should have the fundamental knowledge of this one. And again, here we discuss, this is the cutting edge, this is the face, this is the nose. And when we come to the next diagram, we have already, I told you, this is the nose angle. This is the nose angle, where at the tip of the nose, and so people are disturbing. We're not coming to the class before 9:20 also. I already told you. Okay. So we have the two cutting edge angles. One is the auxiliary cutting edge angle, or the front cutting edge angle. The end cutting edge angle is also known as the front cutting edge angle, and the other one is the side cutting edge angle. You just try to see this part. This is the side cutting edge angle. This is the side cutting edge angle, and this part is the front cutting edge angle. So this is the side cutting edge angle. This is the body of the tool. So again, when we come to the end clearance angle, so end clearance angle will be the straight perpendicular we draw, and we just try to follow this particular nose axis. So it is the end clearance angle. I will be just giving the definitions also. And here, this is the end clearance angle now, back rake angle. So you have to represent the diagram. Whenever we have a diagram related to back rake angle, we can show the end clearance angle. You just try to remember. It's not mugging up things. You have to know the concepts. And here, another view is there. Here, this is the side rake angle. Because already I told you, rake angles are back rake angle, alpha, side rake angle alpha s, and zero rake angle. Okay, there's no the notation, but it is zero. For some materials, you try to use just like brass, and this is the side clearance angle. So, and here we'll try to discuss that also. And so, what is the particular thing regarding your particular? What is the back rake angle, or what is the rake angle? So what is the rake angle? What is its significance? You have to know. It is the rake or slope of the tool. You just try to see the diagram, you can understand better. It is a rake or slope of the tool face, and it is formed between the tool face and a plane parallel to its base, and a plane parallel to its base. So that is the rake angle. So when this particular slope is towards the shank, you just try to see in the back rake angle. When the slope is towards the base, it is known as the back rake. Back rake angle is also known as the top rake angle. But you try to remember different names, because in the GATE or so many exams, you will be asking in different words, in different terminology. So that one back rake angle is also known as the top rake angle. So all that you have to understand. And when the slope is towards the side of the tool, you can just see when the slope is towards the side of the tool, is known as side rake angle. Side rake angle. So all that you have to see. And the significance of rake angle also you should know. So it allows the chips to flow in a convenient manner. It will be allowing the chips to flow in a convenient manner. That is direction away from the cutting edge, not towards the cutting edge. If the chips are flying towards the cutting edge, again, the built-up edge is formed. So that is the significance of the rake angle, and it also reduces the chip pressure on the tool face. So, and it also reduces the cutting forces. It also reduces the cutting forces. So that is the significance of the rake angle, whether it is the back rake or the side rake. So all that you have to just understand. And the next one is the side rake angle. So side rake angle also it influences the particular machining. So when you try to remove the particular material, when the tool removes the material on a side cutting edge only, you just try to see the diagram, the particular diagram you can easily note down, or you can easily observe the side rake angle. So side rake angle will allow the chips to flow side by side of the tool and away from the tool post. Most of you must know what is the tool post and what is the tool holder, because so many may not able to distinguish between tool post and tool holder. In the tool holder, you just try to have the try to fix the single point cutting tool. So tool post is a 4-way tool post, but when we go to the capstan or turret lathes, we have an hexagonal turret, six station tool turret or octagonal turret, where we try to go for the 8. Orthogonal means 8, because you know hexagon 6 sides, octagon 8 sides. So here that is the particular side rake angle. And again, when we consider the rake angles, CR, are you listening? CR?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay, okay. This is about the back rake and side rake. Again, when we come to the rake angle, because we can discuss much about the single point cutting tool even in 2 classes, but due to lack of time, we'll be pushing up. So we have a positive rake angle and the zero rake angle and negative rake also. So whenever any particular diagram comes, we'll try to discuss that also. And zero rake, when no rake is provided on the tool, that means zero angle. Positive rake means when the face of the tool slopes away from the cutting edge. When the slope of the tool slopes away from the cutting edge, it's known as the positive rake angle. And what is the negative rake angle? When the tool face slopes away from the cutting edge, but here the slanting of the positive rake is towards the back, that is the shank or side of the tool. When we come to the negative rake angle, it slants upwards towards the side or back of the tool. So the slanting, the slope, if it is towards the side of the tool, it is known as the positive rake, and if it is the slanting is towards the back of the tool or upwards towards the side, it's known as the negative rake angle. So here he has given some examples. Brass, whenever you turn the brass machining, you try to provide the tools with zero rake angle. So what is the example of positive rake HSS, high speed tool? Zero rake brass, and negative rake we can give the carbide tools. So whenever we are using the carbide tools, we can give the negative rake angle. So all these are different aspects of the particular thing, and you have to learn yourself what are the advantages of the positive rake, zero rake, and negative rake on the tools. So all that are given, and the higher the rake angle means the better is the cutting. The better is the cutting, and the cutting forces are less. You can just note down that also. And next one, we have the clearance angle. Clearance angle, or the clearance angle, the whatever we have discussed yesterday, the front clearance angle is nothing but it is the end relief angle also. So clearance angle is the angle between, you can just see the diagram, it is the angle between the machine surface and the flank faces. So we have that also, that is the end clearance angle and the side clearance angle. And sometimes the end clearance angle in some of the textbooks is known as the front clearance angle, and the side clearance angle is also known as the side relief angle. So the side relief angle, you can just see in the diagram, it prevents the side or flank of the tool from rubbing against the workpiece. So that's why the side clearance angle is provided. Whenever you try to go for the longitudinal feeds, longitudinal is parallel to the x-axis, and we have the transverse feed. It is in a perpendicular direction to the tool. It's in a perpendicular direction to the tool. So that is the difference between the particular end clearance angle and the side clearance angle. Again, when we come to the side cutting edge angle, so that is the side cutting edge angle. You can just try to see in the diagram. It is the angle between the side cutting edge and the longitudinal axis of the tool. Already I told you longitudinal axis will be parallel to the machine operator or to the machine. So that is the particular side cutting edge angle. And sometimes this particular whatever we have a complementary angle, but it's in not all the tools we'll try to use. It's known as the approach angle also, as far as this side cutting edge angle is concerned. Again, when we come to the particular end cutting edge angle, so end cutting edge angle, you just try to see it prevents the particular, it is also known as the front cutting edge angle in the diagram. It prevents the trailing edge of the cutting edge of the tool. So here also it prevents from rubbing against the workpiece, and the edge angle. So you should not provide a larger edge angle because it weakens the tool. It weakens the tool. So yesterday I told you the rake angle also more than 15 degrees is not allowed. So according to the positive rake or negative rake, we'll just try to provide that particular angle. So the end cutting edge angle is usually provided from 8 to 15 degrees. 8 to 15 degrees. And the side cutting edge angle, if it is a square nose tool, you know it is a 90 degrees angle, and knife edge turning tool, it is 0 degrees. So the side cutting edge angle is usually kept around 15 degrees. Around 15 degrees. Around same range is there, but you don't try to provide larger cutting edge angles because it weakens the tool. Okay. So I think all of you are satisfied just by showing the diagram. This we can tell, but you have to have a complete knowledge of explaining the particular thing. You should also develop like that, because I already worked in the quality assurance in the automobile sector. I was in the tool inspection department also. So here, whatever we have discussed, we'll again summarize in this particular 7 minutes time or 8 minutes time. So up to 9:45 is there, don't worry. So this is the face of the tool, this is the shank of the tool, and this is the face of the tool edge, and end cutting edge, nose, side cutting edge, side flank, heel. So again, when we come to another diagram, already I told you should not show. You can show, but this is a combination of the previous figure. The end cutting edge or the end cutting edge angle and the side cutting edge angle, and the shank, and this is the nose radius. So that is the, you should provide at least a nose radius of 0.8 mm, or you can provide more also, 0.81 or 1.2, like that. And here in this particular diagram, we have the end relief, end clearance angle, end clearance angle. You can just try to see end clearance angle, end relief angle. So don't try to confuse with the particular end relief angle and the end clearance angle. And back rake angle, back rake angle. So this is the base of the shank, and this is the tool part. He has drawn, he has given the particular indication of the side rake also. This is the side rake and side relief. But whenever we come to the back rake, we have the end relief angle. So that is very important aspect of the single point cutting tool nomenclature. You have to practice this diagram. I'll be sharing the PPT. Again, I told you, Sairam, you have to be in constant touch with me, CR, and you have to give your mail also in my personal WhatsApp. So I will just share this one material.
Okay.
Okay. So So what is back rake angle? Already we have discussed the particular definition also. It's the angle between the face of the tool and the line parallel to the base of the tool. If you try to draw a line parallel to the base of the tool, and it is the angle between the face of the tool. So it is measured in a perpendicular plane to the side cutting edge. You can easily find out. So this angle, already I told you the significance also. It tries to remove the chips away from the workpiece, away from the workpiece. So next, side rake angle. Side rake angle is denoted by alpha as it is the angle by which the face of the tool is inclined sidewards. Already the definition I just explained to you. So this angle of the tool determines the thickness of the tool behind the cutting edge. So how much thickness you have to just have as per the design, the side rake angle will determine. So that is the thing. So it is provided on the tool to provide clearance. The significance of side rake angle is to provide the clearance between the workpiece and tool. So already I told you it tries to prevent the rubbing of the workpiece with the end flank or tool, because it's if it is not preventing, the friction will increase. The friction will increase and tool wear will be there. A tool will be worn out and tool life will be reduced. So next one is the end relief angle. So end relief angle also we have discussed. It is defined as the angle between the portion of the end flank immediately below the cutting edge. You can see the diagram also. Again, we'll try to go for the diagram. End relief angle is this one. End relief angle is this particular diagram. So all that you have to just practice and just go for the definitions also. And it's measured at right angles to the flank. You have seen the diagram also. Again, the side relief angle, it prevents the interference. It prevents the interference as the tool enters the material. So that is also there, the side relief angle. It is shown in the figure. So you have to practice all the views, the side view, the top view, everything. So the side relief angle, so it's the angle between the portion of the side flank immediately below the side edge, and it's also a line perpendicular to the base of the tool measured at right angles to the side. So you have to know the difference between end relief angle and side relief angle by drawing in two separate views, the diagrams. Side cutting edge and end cutting edge we can show in the same diagram, but it's not the case with end relief angle and side relief angle. So next, end cutting edge angle. It is the angle between the end cutting edge and a line perpendicular to the shank of the tool. Already we have discussed this also. So that is the end cutting edge angle. Already I told you it is between 8 and 15 degrees. And the side cutting edge angle, it provides clearance between the tool cutting edge and workpiece. So it is the angle between the end cutting edge and a line perpendicular to the shank of the tool. So you have to see this also. And in some of the particular this one, already I told you, you have a particular complementary angle for side cutting edge angle. In some of the textbooks, it is known as approach angle. In some of the textbooks, it is also known as the lead angle. So you just try to remember the lead angle also, and it is responsible for turning the chip away from the finished surface. So that is the difference between end cutting edge angle and the side cutting edge angle. You have to know the significance of this one. Next slide is very important because already you may be asking, mostly in the competitive exams, you will give the tool signature just like a code, not barcode, some digit, some just like a passcode. We will just try to have the 7 elements. These are very important aspects. The first one, 0 is the back rake angle. The 7th degrees is the side rake angle. First you start with back rake angle,